Welcome to Consumer Update. I'm Kelly Lightbourne. Thanks so much for joining us today. Family law issues are some of the most difficult cases to work with since most involve small children. Joining us today from the law office of Blumenhauer Hackworth are Jonathan Hackworth and Kelly Mitchell, two attorneys whose passion is helping families who are in the middle of some of the most difficult legal situations. Now, obviously, when you're dealing with families, this is such a touchy subject, and you really need attorneys that not only know the law, but really know how to handle the clients. You guys do something a little different. I want to start right off the bat because you kind of take a client-centric approach. Can you tell us what that is?
I think rather than focusing on the legal aspects, we try to focus on solving problems for people because at the end of the day, that's what we do. And that client-centric approach really puts the focus on our clients as opposed to the legal issues, because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing, is we're fixing problems for people, and that's what we pride ourselves on. And that, for us, that goes across all realms of the law, be it family law, criminal law, whatever it is. It's still fixing problems for normal people who are in unfortunate situations, and family law is just one extension of that.
And that's a really important thing to mention, and like I said, my viewers know that I'm an attorney as well, and sometimes attorneys get bogged down in the legal aspect, so it's nice that you come in and you see that these are people dealing with real issues. And I just want to commend you for that, because that's really important, and a lot of attorneys, they lose sight of it. So, now let's just dig right into the issues that people are dealing with family law. I mean, what are some of the big points that clients come in and are struggling with? I'm assuming children would be number one.
Absolutely.
So
children and time sharing, custody issues, that sort of thing.
Okay. As far as dealing with, let's just start off with custody, because I think, you know, as a mother, I think that would be my big thing. I don't care about finances, I care about my children. What are some of the, I guess, trends that you're dealing with now in the custody arena?
Trends, I don't know if there's any trends. Most parties want to start out with a 50-50 time sharing arrangement. It's called time sharing now. It's the legalese of it is no longer visitation or custody. The statutes, the language is time sharing. So usually parties want to start off with a 50-50 time sharing. Sometimes they want majority, sometimes they want less. It just really depends on the family dynamic.
Now, how vital is it to have an attorney involved? I know a lot of people say, oh, financially, you know, I'm going to try to do it a different way. You really can't nowadays. I mean, there's so many issues that people aren't aware of.
Well, I think the other issue too is if things aren't done properly from the beginning, ultimately attorneys come in from the back end and have to try to correct and modify and change things. And really in the long run, it costs more to do it again than it does do it right the first time. And additionally, if attorneys are involved in the front end, we can put certain safeguards and checks in place that will attempt to prevent parties from having to come back to court. Anyone that does any work with family law knows that modifications make up 60 to 70% of probably cases filed. So we can do our best to try to prevent those modifications from happening in the future by putting workable parenting plans in place. A prime example is everyone thinks 50-50 means every other day. And two people that aren't attorneys may think, oh, let's do it every other day. Well, the fact of the matter is that's incredibly unworkable, or every other week. That's why when you get attorneys involved, we can say, okay, this is the way the court may do it, or this is another creative solution to that problem to get to 50-50 by making up time sharing in the summer, or give extra weekends or extra holidays. So again, it's whether you want to spend money on the back end or on the front end and have it done right.
Plus, I mean, really, it's the well-being of the children. I mean, that's what I hear you saying, because that's really important, because I think so many people, they get in the minutia of, I'm getting divorced, so I want my kid this amount of time, and you guys come in, you're the level heads, and say, well, this is what's best and this is what's worked, and there's a lot of value in that.
Sure, and while being an advocate for our client, we also have to at least consider the best interest of the children at the end of the day. And when those two align, that puts us in a situation to be very effective and great advocates for our clients when we can show it's the best interest of the children to spend the most time with our clients. And that is another thing an attorney can do, is find those arguments and those positions that we can frame to present to the court of why our client is the best interest of the child. Right.
Now, there are some new approaches. We were talking about earlier before the show started about collaborative divorces, and I think that's very interesting, because like I said, I've been out of it for 15 years, and that wasn't an approach that people really used along, you know, back then. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Collaborative law is relatively new to this area. It's been around for quite some time. There is an administrative order in Hillsborough County that recognizes the collaborative process, and that usually is pre-suit. That's before the parties file anything, and the parties and their attorneys enter into a collaborative agreement. Basically, that they will work together in a collaborative way, face-to-face meetings if that's what the parties can do. Sometimes they're separated, but they engage in a negotiation process, and they have a series of meetings, and it's topic specific. So the first meeting is usually time sharing. The second one would be equitable distribution, so on and so forth. Support issues come later. So usually in the room you have the two attorneys that are representing their parties, and we have what's called a facilitator, which is a mental health professional that keeps everybody calm and rational, and if necessary, a forensic accountant to value the marital estate for equitable distribution and support purposes.
See, and I love this approach, and so I want to stay on it a little bit longer, because I think people don't realize, like, they think divorce has to be aggressive, it has to be, you know, turn ugly sometimes, and this is a way for people to be people, to talk it out, to, you know, they were married for a reason.
Too.
Yeah,
and they have a full room of support. They have their attorney, they have the facilitator, and they have the forensic accountant there.
And it's a lot more difficult to be aggressive when everybody makes the agreement ahead of time that, hey, we're going to try to do this in a civil manner. Effectiveness, have you found it to be extremely effective?
Absolutely. The biggest advantage to having a collaborative case is the families end up in such a better place when the marriage is dissolved and the issues are resolved. So it's a kinder, gentler way of getting a divorce, and it can be used for any kind of case. But you know, my experience, of course, is with divorce. Yeah. And the only problem is that, and it's a motivating thing too. The attorneys they agree to take the collaborative process to settlement. If the parties cannot settle, then the attorneys have to take themselves off the case, and the parties have to hire new counsel if they're going to file a contested divorce in court.
See, I love the way that your firm is looking at divorces. How do people find you guys? Like, how do they find you? Is there a website? Do they come in?
www.bhtampa.com. We're located in Ybor City, about a mile from downtown. The majority of our work at this point is driven by the internet, a lot of referrals. We have relationships with certain people in the community that refer us a lot of work.
No, well, now we know where to find you, and like I said, thank you again for really, you know, treating us with kid gloves when it comes to divorces. Coming up next, Tampa Bay Federal Credit Union has been serving its members' changing financial needs for almost 80 years. Find out how they can help you when we come back.